was one. Good evening, everybody. This is Sidebar live from the Nation Center. I am Madowo, the only remaining host of the show. But just as well, there is so much coming up on the show right now. Let's try and set the stage, shall we?
My friend, underground. Tisha kura ya nomination. Wacha kalani. Wacha nikelele.
Wanaonyesha wako pamoja and they are not after selfish interest. And that is the kind of leadership we want in Nairobi.
Itaenda hiyo free and fair nomination. The best woman, the best man would win.
Tuchague viongozi wanatufanyia kazi, tuchague viongozi ambao wanaleta maendeleo hii Nairobi yetu. Si ndio hivyo?
Elections bring out various feelings and various situations. And what happened on the ground is still something that needs to be investigated further.
Na tarehe 9 bunge ikirudi, nataka wabunge wasaidiane na mimi ili tufanye wamama wetu wapate viti katika bunge la kitaifa.
We've got in studio tonight some of the leading candidates for the seat of Nairobi Woman Representative, starting with the incumbent Shebesh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nyamu.
It's also great to have with us Esther Passaris, who's running now on an ODM ticket. And Millicent Omanga is also running on a Jubilee ticket. So you're going both to the primaries on Friday.
Yes.
Let me start with you. Are you on ODM? Because the posters are out there today and over the last couple of days which show you on an ODM poster. What's happening?
I think my opponents are so scared. So they've decided to invest on propaganda instead of going to the ground and talking to the people.
So you have not decamped to ODM?
I'm in Jubilee to stay. What I normally say, I'm one of the pillars. I was the vice chair URP. We merged with TNA to form Jubilee. I'm in Jubilee to stay.
So it's not an idea that has crossed your mind in case you lose the nomination?
Not at all.
Shebesh is a strong candidate, then you might...
If I lose, I'll support her. If she loses, I'm sure she will support me.
Very true.
All right, great. You are out there today. You only recently declared that you were running again.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to that clip before you to come to talk about it, because a lot of people didn't expect you to be running. It was widely expected that you had stepped aside for somebody else. Mm-hmm. But then you made this announcement that you were in fact still in the race for Nairobi Woman Representative.
Mm-hmm. Yes. They refused, and they are here. Yes. They refused. Yes. And they told me, even if you leave this seat, Shebesh, it doesn't matter who we are given, sisi tunataka Shebesh. Yes. So I am back in the race, not because I had left it because I couldn't do my work. I was doing my work. I left it because we were trying to find a formula in Nairobi.
Why did you decide to run again?
Because we had a formula. And the formula was very simple, and the basic reasoning for it also was fundamental. That there is no way we are going to be Jubilee in Nairobi as one tribe. It's what cost us last time. It's not a mistake we want to make again. And that means that there are people who have to make sacrifices. And I was ready to make that sacrifice. And actually I did. But when the rest of the people, how we had planned our lineup, did not agree, and actually went out to do a very aggressive anti-lineup campaign, then I went back to my seat. And Larry, I was not leaving this seat because I've not done work. I've done a lot of work. I've carried all my documents here, although I'm sure I might not have time to say. But what I know is that I have worked. However, all the work that I do is very insignificant compared to if we had a governor of Jubilee. Then we would be able to do much more for the people of Nairobi. And so our formula was working out, especially to ensure that we can get more support outside the strongholds of Uhuru, Kenyatta, and William Ruto into Jubilee. Nairobi is cosmopolitan. We need all tribes in Nairobi. My seat actually fundamentally was to be given to the Kisii community, as well as, of course, the deputy governor's seat that we wanted to go to a Luhya community. Of course, the Kamba community is still represented in the name of our senator. So there was a lineup. But anyway,
but was this just a tribal lineup? Because it seems you're handing out seats based on tribes here.
Actually, you have to be deliberate. In politics, if you're not deliberate, it won't work. You have to be able to talk to your core supporters and tell them, listen, we need to bring on board every facet of Nairobi. If you leave it to your supporters, they will go back to their cocoons. And that is why, by the way, when you're talking about fighting ethnicity, you can't do it when you don't show an open. Let's just take ODM as an example, our biggest competitors. That is exactly what Raila does. Raila will take anybody and convince his supporters, irrespective of the stronghold of the tribe of that constituency. Take, for example, Dagoretti. Simbarati is Kisii.
Right.
But 60% of the voters there are Luyas. But they voted Simbarati. Go to Sumra. He's in Embakasi South. The strongest bloc there is Kamba. They agreed. So what we are saying is Nairobi politics can never be about emotions. It must be about strategy. And that's the strategy we are trying to employ. But because people felt that they didn't want to be put in that kind of a situation, which is their right, actually, by the way, then we all said, then let's go to nominations. And on Friday, I can assure you, just as Millicent has said, we are ready for whoever wins. And as Jubilee, we are committed not to move to any party called anything or independent. Stick in Jubilee. I will support Millicent. Millicent will support me as long as we are Jubilee.
All right. You went to ODM, which was strange because you were not initially running for this seat at all.
No, I wasn't. What happened is I wanted to run for governor, and the main reason for wanting to run for governor, I'm a social entrepreneur. When I lit up the slums of Nairobi and the highways, I actually realized how much poverty there was in the informal settlements. And to be able to make impactful change, you really need a huge budget, and the county government has that budget. So I felt I would want to take on the county government. But of course, it's a lot of resources, and I basically hit a hitch because when I went to IABC the first time and I said, look, I'm doing my degree, I'm graduating in August, can I be cleared?
Is it a legitimate degree?
Yes, at USIU.
You didn't fake any papers?
No, at USIU. And they said, yeah, we'll accept transcripts. And when I went back again, late March, they said, no, we wouldn't accept the transcripts unless you completely finish with the degree. And I still had a few, my project to do in the last semester. So I just thought, I don't want to have any controversy. So I had to find a way to let my supporters know that I'm finding it impossible to do the governor's race. And I put it to them, what would you like me to do? And they said they'd want me to run for women rep. And the others, I said, which party? I put all the parties, and they said a NASA affiliate. Now, if I had to go to NASA, then it made a lot of sense to go back to Baba because I was already in ODM. And I couldn't go back to NASA and then go to Wiper or go to Ford Kenya. Because for me, I was in ODM, I was I was embraced by ODM. And even when I ran under a KNC ticket for women rep, majority of my votes came from ODM. Yes, and of course, a lot of them came from TNA at that time as well.
Did you just leave Jubilee because there was no room for you?
I was never in Jubilee.
Rather, there was no room for you any other way apart from in ODM?
No, I didn't want, I could never join Jubilee just like I could not join TNA. I've got some Kikuyu blood, and I feel for us to break tribalism, we've got to try and go on the other side. And for me, the other side was NASA.
There's a period when you started using Esther Passaris. Was that deliberate?
When I ran, Shebesh was my mentor during Embakasi.
Yeah.
And and Shebesh advised me, and she said, you know what, Esther, you need to use the Muthoni name. And I hardly could answer to Muthoni because I'm Esther. But you know, it was strategic, okay? That you know, there's Kikuyu votes there, and you need to use the name. And we did win Embakasi. Unfortunately, we were rigged by her current party.
Yeah.
Was she rigged by your current party?
Oh, Embakasi?
Yes.
They rigged me out.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
During the by-elections?
Yes.
Yeah.
After Mugabe
Yes,
After Mugabe went past
passed on,
I won.
I can take it to the bank.
Yeah.
She won.
We worked so
We did.
hard, and we were embraced, and we won, and we were played. I
Well,
mean,
maybe,
we were
we
played.
were just not very good players in the dirty games. of
But you know
competitions.
what? Yeah, and it's sad. And I've always had this feeling that when people vote, they want a certain leader. And when you deny them that leader, I think it is so unjust. But I always say vengeance is for God. So God will deal with the people that steal elections on and on.
I need to explain why we have two empty seats here. Karen Nyamu was to join us, who apparently understands that she will not be joining us tonight. However, Wangui Nganga is going to be joining us shortly. She was running a little late. I want you to respond to this tweet, Esther. Sauti Mwananchi says, Esther Passaris should just step down. Mara Embakasi MP, Governor, Mara Woman Rep, Mara Muthoni. What is she? No position at all.
Well, he's entitled to his opinion, and I think you know, we always judge women very harshly. I mean, look at all the men. I mean, everybody that's in the current Jubilee government were once in ODM, okay, save for Uhuru, but he was also in the Rainbow.
And was also in Kanu.
And well, yeah. So at the end of the day, women are allowed to move just like men because this is the precedent of our politics.
Right.
All right. And I did run for women rep, so I'm back to where I feel I can be able to serve. I think when you have this calling that you want to make a difference to people's lives, then you take it. And you know, when I put the poll out, if majority had said I should run for MCA, I would have gone for an MCA seat. I just gave it to Kenyans on Twitter because there are a lot of Kenyans there, and it's like an opinion poll because you get Kenyans making an instant response. I think it's very valid.
It's not terribly scientific though, because that based on people who already follow you, who have an interest in your political standing.
No. I advertise it and I let it go across the spectrum. Yeah.
This is not your first time in politics. You were a running mate before.
Yes.
For governor.
Yes.
And you lost.
No,
I was going for senator.
For senator, yes.
Yes. Okay, I didn't lose 2013. I was convinced to step down. Just the same reasons Shebesh is saying. And I was put to be Waititu's running mate for a week, I think.
Yes.
And it's so unfortunate, how women, African women, we are treated.
What do you mean?
Especially in my community where I come from. I was put to be Waititu's running mate, but then elders from where my ancestral home, the Kisii land, came out and said, we can't put a deputy governor in Nairobi, a small girl. I was 29 years then. Then they said they want a man would be able to deliver the community votes.
So it was purely a sexist argument against your
yes,
case?
and age, yes.
So you agreed with that?
But there's nothing I would do.
Wow. Let's leave it there just for the moment. I want to come back and talk about this a bit more, but now I have to take a really quick break on Sidebar. Plenty more conversations coming up. If you have any questions or comments, #Sidebar. Okay, so I have a mandazi and there's some more sound set, and Esther Passaris was nibbling on my...
Don't say.
was nibbling on my... on my sausage for a moment. But otherwise, we're joined now by Karen Nyamu, who's joined us on set, and also Wangui. Thank you both for coming in. In fact, let me just read some tweets real quick before we talk in. Francis Mbate, can we hear what agenda they have for Nairobi instead of hearing stories of women this, women that? That seems to be a general complaint. So since you just came in, you go for it. What is your agenda for? Why are you running for woman representative, Karen?
I think I've put it out there in social media and even in my campaign that my biggest agenda for Nairobi is youth empowerment. And I know the women rep position is misunderstood, and people think that a woman rep is a representative for women, and that's not the case. If you look at the constitution, it puts women in the youth and people living with disabilities under a women rep position. So I've identified a big gap, leadership gap in the youth, because we are experiencing a youth bulge in Kenya. And that happens when the population in a country is more than 20%, is that particular age group. And we're not giving attention to the youth. And crime is increasing, and all these complications brought about by, and sorry, I'm panting.
It's all right, you're out of breath. Yeah, it's okay.
Because they came running the stairs. Because there's all these complications associated with a youth with no attention given to them, no special attention given to them.
All right, we'll give you a moment to collect your breath. Wangui, why are you running for woman representative?
Thank you so much for having me here. I would like to say there's so much that have been said about the seat of women rep seat, but I actually think it's a very powerful seat, because if you look at the kind of budget that has been put aside for the youth and women, it's pretty much a big budget. So for me, I don't want to say that I will do this that the national government does, or do things that the county government does. I will actually start working with what has been given to me, and then I will make sure that this money has trickled down to the common mwananchi, and with very much fairness. I would also say that let's not talk about what if we are given so much. Let's expand the kitty. No, let's first work with what we have, so that the people of Nairobi can feel that there is money that has been given to them. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is very particular about youth. He's very particular about women. So I think what we should do is not actually ashame him, but work with what he's given us. Then the seat of women representative seat will have a meaning.
What happens, because all four of you are in Jubilee, and the primaries on Friday, only one person will win?
Yes.
What happens after that?
Oh my God! No,
you support whoever wins. Will you support any of these other ladies?
I strongly believe the reason why we are in the same party is because we believe the party has got democracy, and that if you lose, then you let the next best woman take the seat. So for me, I will appreciate if somebody wins and they're there. So I give them all the respect that they deserve, and I will work hand in hand with them.
Karen, if you don't win the nomination on Friday, Will you support the winner?
Definitely, this is not about me. This is about trying to present better leadership than what we have right now. No, with all due respect. With all due respect. So yeah, I will support whoever takes the seat.
We won't see any of you running as independents after Friday?
Not me.
No, I am a strong supporter of the party. So if I don't get the seat, I will most definitely support the next person who gets it.
All right. Esther Passaris, you're not in Jubilee, so you're unique in this case. You've been talking about, in your campaign trail, you're talking about different things, why you should be elected. And one of the things that caught our attention, you've been talking about cartels. I want to bring everybody's attention to this soundbite, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
So I don't have fear of cartels, and I believe that their days are numbered, and they know it. And the cartels only thrive because the leadership that comes in fuels them. Okay, they fuel each other, they engineer each other. So for me, if I'm not going to fuel any of these cartels, they're not going to survive.
Thank you.
You know, it's the lifeline. I'm pulling out the lifeline of the cartels if I become governor of Nairobi.
Right.
That was when you became governor of Nairobi. Is that still the same?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We do have cartels all over the place, and that's the order of the day in Kenya. So for me, the Women Rep Fund, unlike what Wangui thinks that the budget is enough, it's not enough. In fact, it's ridiculous. All right, I think the men have really undermined the women by giving these 47 seats for women and then giving them a budget that will paralyze them and make them look bad to the wider public. When you have when you're running in 17 constituencies in Nairobi to try and get the seat of a woman rep, you're getting the same earnings as an MP, and then you're given 7 million shillings per constituency when the MP is getting about 200 million or something like that, and then you're expected to provide services. I think when we first started campaigning, we promised everything because we thought we would get a huge budget and we'd be able to do so much more. Because we should get more than an MP. Because we're actually...
Well, at least equal to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, equal's not even enough. I mean, when multiply that by the 17 constituencies. Because for me, the woman is actually going around the entire county. She has to serve the entire county. And I hope that in the future, if they're going to scrap this seat, they tie the woman rep with the county government. Because then you campaign with the county government. Because you do need a woman representative. You do need a youth representative. Now, the youth fund, the women's fund, everywhere that I go, and I don't know if it's different for you, nobody is able to tell me that they've accessed that money and they've been able to do something good with it. So I really want to know, as woman rep, where's that money going? I want to make sure that the county government provides services, okay, water, clean environments, because the women that we represent, they need a healthy environment. The youth require jobs. Can we use our problems, you know, to actually find solutions for the youth? And I think we have to break the cartels. When you look at NHIF, they collect a huge amount of money. They should be investing in hospitals, they should be investing in infrastructure, but the cartels make them actually invest in nothing, and then you're not able to provide services for the people.
Are you referring to Esther Passaris, to Rachel Shebesh, because she had an NHIF event today?
Well, I mean, no, I'm not referring to her, but I'll tell you one thing. When you look at all these NSSF, NHIF, they're supposed to be taking this fund, investing it into really good investments, and then be able to be profitable.
Okay.
And they're not doing that. And for me, every woman that is unemployed in this country, no discrimination, should be able to access an NHIF card when she's unemployed, to access the services like any other citizen. Because this government, or any government, cannot say we only serve the rich or those who are employed.
Kevin Karanja says, please, Larry, tell Esther Passaris to always stop pulling the woman card when cornered.
I am a woman. Get used to the fact. I am a woman and I'm proud of it, and I don't pull the woman card. I've actually ventured in areas where men couldn't handle it by lighting up the city. 40 years after independence, nobody thought that we should light up the informal settlements. That was a man job.
Okay. A lot of you have come in for criticism for your taglines, Manzi Wanai, Msupa wa Nairobi, etc., that you've turned this into a beauty contest. Millicent, I want to play something from, we got this off your social media. It talks about, I think it's a campaign video, and this interesting bit that I want everybody to watch, and then we'll talk about it.
Walafi wakipora, Omanga ni kujenga, wauni wakichocha, Msupa ni uyano, walezi ni kidomo, mrembo ni vitendo, ya wakiwa likizoni, Omanga mashinani,
we don't have that much time.
Nairobi na Msupa, yo tuko sawa, maisha poa jiji. Nairobi na Msupa, yo tuko sawa, maisha poa jiji. walafi wakipora, Omanga ni kujenga, wauni wakichocha.
Do you mean Msupa wa Nairobi?
Msupa na works.
Msupa na works.
Yes, Msupa na works. I think I used Msupa because I felt like I'm super, or my supporters or the people I work with feel like I'm super in all what I do.
Msupa in Sheng refers to beautiful one.
But for me, it's I meant Msupa. I'm super in what I do, and I don't think really it's beautiful, because if it's beauty, all women are beautiful. When God was creating in Genesis, when God was doing His creation, every day, like after creation, He sat and said everything was beautiful. So it's not really about beauty, because what I've done in Mashinani will tell you really it's not about beauty.
You don't feel this has been turned into a beauty contest, the race for Nairobi Woman?
I don't think so myself, because the program I have for boy child, I started in 2011, which I was doing in the semi-arid areas, in pastoral areas, where boys are not going to school because they're going hunting, then the girls were going to school. So I started this Rudusome for a boy child, which I also came to Nairobi and started doing it in the informal settlement, because I feel like the boy child is demoralized. There is no one to mentor the boy child. And soon, because when you go to the Mashinani, Vijiji, you find the youth are there so desperate. They finish school, they have nowhere to go. You've realized of recent past, we don't have mid-level colleges. All colleges, Kenya Poly, all those colleges have been turned to university. That's why even when we were doing the this railway, the standard gauge, we could not even get welders. We had to import welders. So I feel like the boy child has been demoralized. They need mentorship. And soon, if we don't actually start pulling along the boy child, along the girl child campaign, we'll get to Singapore. You know, right now, Singapore, the girl is so much empowered that they are going to marry in Malaysia because they cannot stand the girl. So I feel like... yes.
Okay, Karen Nyamu, I also want to ask you this, because I looked at your social media as well, and there's this video which is called the Voter Mobilization Drive. I think it was in Madowo constituency, and it shows you in a car. And the interesting bit, I wonder if everybody can look at this video. There's a bit where you're counting money, and money is kind of an interesting part of this campaign. Guys, run this and then we'll come back and talk about it with Karen. Where are you getting all this money, Karen?
How much money is that, Larry?
I don't know how much it is.
It's like 10,000 shillings. I was just about to fuel the car.
It was not to give people as a handout?
No, definitely not.
Have you been handing out cash in your campaigns?
Well, you don't call it handing out cash, but when you call a meeting and you facilitate for soda and tea as you address them, I mean, you can't deny it. Money is a very important part of campaign, but for facilitation, for logistics.
It's not a bribe for people to vote for you?
No way.
If you give people 100 bob or whatever amount of
it's
money...
It's not 100 bob. You sit them in a room or in a hall, and you order tea and mandazi for them as you address them, and you pay the bill.
So not necessarily giving out physical cash?
No, not necessarily. We don't do that.
So you've not done that. Has any of you have to give out cash in your campaigns?
I do.
You give out money?
All the time.
You give out money?
Even today, the border borders that I did NHIF for, I gave them 500 shillings to fuel their border borders so that they could come, spend the whole day there, come out with their NHIF card. So if the whole day, that's logistics, isn't it? Yeah, so please.
Not handouts,
you have to do logistics. You can't
but how is that not bribing voters?
No. Let me ask you, why would you want 500 women to listen to you, even if it's for 3 hours? Stop their business, come and listen to you, and you want them to go back having stopped their business with nothing. There is no way. It doesn't even make sense.
And the
politically, the precedence of giving money has been set.
It's been set.
It's been set. And I think actually it's very unfair.
Yeah.
But I also agree that maybe we need to curb this issue of handing out money. I think the law is now very clear. We put laws in place that the time to use money or not to use money. Even harambes have been stopped.
Right.
8 months, yeah. So there are laws. But facilitating women who have come to listen to you, facilitating border guys who have come to take NHIF, facilitating people with disabilities who have come to collect maybe the checks for depo banking.
You want to get people to listen to you for free if they just believe in your policies or what you're selling?
Yes. I can also say, yes, you don't have to bribe people for them to listen to you. You don't have to give them money for them to listen to you. If they believe in your leadership, then they will listen to you even for you, even if you don't have to give them money. But then there's one thing. Imagine this lady in the informal settlement. They're going to work in the morning. You take their 2 hours, 3 hours, and you expect them to go back home and feed water to their children. But there's one thing I can also say. It is not good to give them money because we need to empower them to understand that with the leadership that they're getting, they should be in a better position to actually not depend on handouts. But they say one thing. Wacha tusikize hawa wanasiasa juu watarudi after 5 years. And that is why Wangui is stepping in the seat of women rep, believing that I will empower that woman. I will make sure that biashara yake imeinuka, so that even when I give them handouts, they will tell me, no. If anything, we will support you in your campaigns. They will buy for me t-shirts. They will come up and tell me we will fuel your car if they are empowered. So it's also, so to say, it's also the leaders we have. I think we can blame them also. Right. Because if you disappear for 4 years, sorry to say, if you disappear, Shebesh, I haven't seen you in action. So, and especially women, everywhere I'm going, I know she's been working, but everywhere I go, they say, the women rep hatujawai muona. So now, when you come out right now, they will take whatever you're giving them, because they don't know if the next time they see you is after 5 years. So for me as Wangui, I'm saying, let's first empower these women, because the facility and the resources have been given by the government. My policy and my manifesto that I am going to do for the Nairobi person is first work with what you've been given before I ask for more.
Real quick, you're the one who said that the president had been set about giving money in campaigns.
Look, the precedent has been set in the sense that when you call people for a meeting, you buy a soda, you rent the hall, and some of them require transport because they've come from their homes from within the estates or further afield. At the end of the day, this is the way it is. But that's not the only problem. Larry, you go into certain informal settlements and you cannot leave because the youth will barricade the place and they'll say, for you to get out of here, we've provided security, you've come to our turf, we have to be paid. And they make demands. And it can get very rough. All right, so you always have to have something to buy yourself the freedom out of that tight situation.
Yes. And sometimes it happens even before you get into a place. The bases.
Security.
Have bases in the hoods.
So they ask for you for money before you come in to be allowed to enter these places.
You see, it's a form of employment for them.
Is it?
All right? It's a form of employment for them. They actually create their own jobs. They say, look, you're coming to our turf, you want to talk to us about your siyasa, you want our votes.
Okay.
In fact, they say this, give us, you want our votes, give us this. We're hungry, we want chai. It's the precedent. But you know what? We're going to have to talk them out of that, win their confidence as leaders over the next 5 years, so that the next time we go, we've reduced that impact. We have to change also in giving them what we promised.
Larry, can I just say one thing?
When we come back,
just
please.
One thing, please. It would be very good to be sincere. I would like my sister here to confirm whether her biggest supporter, who she walks around with, who I also love, who is the chair of Maendeleo Nawake, Embakasi North, did not receive a table banking check of 300,000 for women close to 200 from Embakasi North. She did. So when Wangui, you say, I am not working, I really wish you could just sell your agenda. Your obsession with discussing me is not pushing your agenda. And let me tell you, my sister.
Let me tell you, my sister. I've got no business.
I will give you this to go home with. I will give you this to go home with. But let me just tell you something, Larry.
I will not discuss.
There are 17 classes.
I will not discuss.
It is my time to speak.
It is my time to speak. Let her speak. You give her a response.
I responded because you commented.
Yes.
And I think we are having a civilized show here. I responded because you commented. I have come with this because I want to give my agenda that is being doubted. But more than that, I want people to see what we can offer as women. So please, yesterday, on another show, you said the women rep is getting 10 million. It is 7 million. So 10 million. Yes, you did. No, it's 7 million, my sister. Yes. Administration is within the 7 million.
Okay.
So please, a bit of fact. Then,
yes.
I want to speak about only one project, which I'm hoping all you women who are here, When you take the seat, if you do, and I've said we will support anybody,
Carry on
please,
with it.
the project of therapy units, one class in every constituency for children with disability is a project that I have put most of the money of the women rep, about 34 million. Why did I do it? Because children with disability don't have access to education. So I have converted 17 classes. What is missing? Another allocation that can allow for transport for those children from their homes, from their whatever, to here. So if I could just ask now on this show, any woman who wins, please don't abandon this project. Even if you abandon any other.
Okay, hang on. Guys, I'm sorry. You know to respond, but I need to give you time. That's why I have to go to break. And when we come back, we'll start with you and you respond.
Okay.
Let's leave it there just for the moment. We have to take a really quick break right now on Sidebar to take the news headlines. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sidebar. We have 5 of the leading candidates for Women Rep in Nairobi: Wangui, Rachel Shebesh, Nyamu, Millicent, Omanga, and Esther Passaris. You wanted to respond to something the Women Rep said?
Yes. I wanted to respond to Rachel Shebesh and say this. If honestly we believed you had done a good job, I don't think I would waste my resources right now running for Women Rep seat. I am very passionate about changing the people's lives, and especially in Nairobi. I am craving to alleviate poverty, because if you go to the informal settlement, uko kwa slums, you see the way the women are living. It is sad. Yes, you say you're doing this, but I am surprised. For the 4 years, we haven't felt what you've done. Maybe you're doing this just because campaigns are just around, elections are just around the corner, and that is expected. You will see people who've been bumming and doing a lot of nothing. The last year, they accumulate all this money and they campaign with it. So for me, I will not be surprised if you met people yesterday, if you gave people checks last week, that could be buying voters and trying to tell them, you know what, I have not been working, but guess what, this is a hefty check for you. Please vote for me again.
So you're saying that Rachel Shebesh has been bumming and doing nothing for 4 years?
Yes, I can tell you that, because ever since the incident with Kidero, we did not see you again. You disappeared for a very long time. I have all the respect for you. You're a woman like me. But then guess what? This is a public seat. And if you as public servant, you have to serve the people. Otherwise, you go home and you give somebody else a chance. We are here, we are all running for the seat. So may the best woman win. But there's one thing I can tell you for a fact. If she had done well, if she would have made sure that the woman in Nairobi, life has changed, the youth have been given employment, because of course we have the 30% procurement. If you just walk to Kidero's office and say, please tafadhali na kuomba niandikie vijana kama 10 wapate kazi, that is still an initiative. Right. So for me, let me finish. So for me, she can say all these things, but it's way too late, because I'm thinking time has elapsed.
Okay.
We need somebody else who will work for 4 years, not just for the last 3 months.
Okay.
If anything, she just came the other day and she said she's defending her seat. For the longest, people had all these rumors that you're not running. So for me, I feel really, if you're defending your seat, you would defend it saying, I've been working the whole time. All right. I need to be given the seat back.
Okay, Larry, 1 year ago, this money came. Yes, I had an incident with Kidero. It's behind me. Yes, there was a reason why people said I was not vying. I made it clear. She came late, she didn't hear. I made it clear. People have heard. But let me tell you, if there is anything that is hurtful, is that when you know a woman has worked, you are actually the first one to trample down on that woman. We call it PhD. Pull her down. I have said, sell your agenda. Sell your agenda. Women will listen to you. Apart from these classes, I have given out, in every constituency, every ward, go to the ground. With these 7 million, car washes, table banking, which I told you her main supporter took 300,000, and mkokotenis. The things that this Women Rep Fund is allowed to do are amazing. The only thing that is the problem is the amount of money. So I am coming back to ensure that we increase this amount of money. But let me just say this also. If silence is golden, that's what I chose. I chose silence. There was too much noise in Nairobi in the first 2-3 years. And to be very honest, our president does not like noise. He likes work. Every time there is an incident in Nairobi, whether it is a fire outbreak, like happened in Komba the other day, whether it was also Kuinda that burned, any issue, Mehango, there was a road, there was a KDF issue, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and his government, I go there as the Women Rep and use emergency funds, through the Women Rep Fund. So please, as you're looking for votes, don't put down this thing called Women Fund. Any man who wants to be an MP, never puts down CDF. That's why they want to be MPs, because they're CDF. So please, let us encourage women, okay, to first of all speak positively, even as you're looking for your own vote.
I want to play something from your event today that you're talking about NHIF, and you had an event where you're handing out NHIF cards to a bunch of youth in Pangani.
Boda, yes. Tuendelee tukipeana NHIF cards. Gani ingine iko ready? Wakuje. Jina ni?
Joseph Getao.
Joseph Getao, kuja chukua kadi yako ya NHIF.
Remex Kenywa kadi.
Remex Kenywa, kuja chukua kadi yako ya NHIF.
Bethwel Morage.
Bethwel Wanjohi. Tafuteni yule mama amefanyia nyinyi kazi. Tafuteni yule mama anapeleka mtoto wako hospitali. Tafuteni yule mama amepatia table banking kwa mama wenyu. Wale ambaye amepatia na makawash. Mimi sitaki kazi ya bure, nataka kazi ya kufanyia watu kwa ground. Sitaki kupewa kazi ya jina na mabillboard. Mimi hakuna billboard yangu utaona nimeweka juu, by the way. Billboard ni pesa mingi sana, mimi sina yodo. Lakini mimi ndio billboard hapa saa hii. Mimi ndio billboard. Si mnaniona? Si mko hapa? Si mko na NHIF card? Billboard gani ingine mnataka vijana? Si imetosha hii?
Karen, your response, you were laughing as you were listening to her.
I mean, it's hilarious. The kind of things we say in our meetings privately. I don't think she thought we would get to watch that.
No, it was live.
It was live on TV. We had it live on NTV.
It was live on TV.
Live?
Yes. Yeah, NTV it was live.
Okay. I think everyone here has a billboard. I've seen Passaris, I've seen Omangas.
I have 10.
Yeah,
she has 10 billboards.
Yeah, I have.
So she's not going to put up any billboards. No. She disagrees with your campaign style.
I just don't have the money.
You just don't have the money.
Well, and it's a fact she's a bigger name. Her name recognition is higher than ours.
Just because she has the seat. Otherwise, you become the women rep today, then your name, Karen, will be all over. It's not because of anything.
But I think
for whatever reason,
also she's been informed for me, because she was telling them, give it to the woman who has worked for you, who has given car wash. Boresha biashara na super there. Do this.
Nice.
Given tanks. Going to the market.
Passaris, you become the women rep. Wangui becomes the women rep today. Then the name will be big. You don't need the...
So it was my clip. Am I going to comment on my clip?
Hang on.
No, after the past 4 years, when you're a woman rep, you don't need to put
I have 40 seconds. I'm going to try and get everybody in 40 seconds.
Because people don't know me.
Ogal dances. Shebesh disgraced and shamed women from her record demeanor. Please ask her what she's done to women on her record.
I have it all here. I have touched over 10 groups per ward with table banking. I have given the car washes, they are here. I have taken youth for driving, for catering, for hairdressing. I have sponsored wheelchair basketball for disabilities.
So these are just highlights of things you've done.
All the things that I have done are on the ground. If they don't want to vote for me, imagine all these women are in the ballot. All of them are in the ballot.
Dedan Mora,
so it's not a matter of life and death.
Passaris and Shebesh should battle it out for the MP position seats like Ongoro and leave the starters to battle it out.
Larry, can I comment?
One moment, let her respond to that first.
Okay, I mean, as I said, I put it out to my supporters and my voters, and they said I should run for women rep. I also decided to run for women rep because I recently got accepted by Vital Voices, an initiative started by Hillary Clinton, to unite women in business and politics and social services. And I thought with that platform of Vital Voices, being one of 50 women selected from all over the world into the fellowship, I would be able to do more with the women rep seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to, they're playing the music, so it means we have to go. So if you can say it in 10 seconds. We'll come back at 9 p.m.
No, because of my point of one time, I wanted to comment on why I would always...
That would be a detailed conversation. Hold it for 9 o'clock. The ladies are all staying with me for 9 o'clock, please.
Yes,
we're not done just yet. Right now we have to go. Yes, hang on. We're going to come back with all the ladies in the middle of the 9 o'clock hour to complete our conversation. Right now, though, coming up on NTV, the news, NTV Tonight, and I'll be back in just a moment. Stay around. Welcome back to NTV Tonight and back to our sidebar conversation with the leading contenders for the Nairobi Woman Representative, wow, that's quite the word, position. We've got here with me Wangui, Rachel Shebesh, who's the incumbent, also Karen Nyamu, Millicent Omanga, and Esther Passaris. A question for you, Millicent Omanga. Is this Millicent Amani Photoshop? Respond please, Msupa Wanai. Where do you guys get all these money? It shows a picture of you. Can we bring this up on the screen, guys? Excellent. It shows a picture of you holding wads of cash. And the question is, where do you get all this money?
How much is that, Larry? And I don't know who took that photo, because I think at some point I thought it was a Photoshop. And I'm a business person. I'm an interior designer. And I do supplies. And every day I do my account. So I don't know, maybe it might be my house girl or someone who decided, and actually I was surprised to see the photo on Twitter and it's trended.
So is this a picture of you as a businesswoman, or is this Photoshop? Because you've given 2 defenses.
I think
It looks like you're posing,
I'm
actually.
saying at first I thought it was a Photoshop, but I realized, yeah, that's my house. Then I think it's either one of my staff or something. Yeah.
Where do you get all this money?
That's
It's
not-
a question I was asking her.
But those are sales. I deal with furniture, Larry. So today you come, you bought a house. You want curtains, you want seats, you want kitchenware and all that. How much would you spend?
Okay, I will move on. Nicholas Udhiambo says, these people don't have an agenda for Nairobi. Hii itakuwa catwalk na vizungu mob. Hata kizungu pia wako chini.
Okay, first of all, you know, I want Nairobians to understand that the woman rep position is a legislative position. You go in there to make laws, approve budgets, governance, checks and balances. And then you have the affirmative action fund, which is 7 million shillings per constituency. But for me, I lit Nairobi and I got almost 500 million from the private sector to light Nairobi. And I wasn't even in leadership, in political leadership at the time. I do not like poverty. I do not like unhealthy environments. I do not like to see unemployed youth. And I will not depend on government money. I think I will fight for more money for the women rep, but that's not the money I'm going to depend on. Everywhere that I go on the campaign trail, I talk to the men and the women and I tell them from now, start saving 200 shillings every month. When I get in, I want all of you to have 1,000 shillings. I want to put the youth club and the mama club. And 1 million of each of you, all right? And we get 1,000 shillings, that's 1 billion shillings. That's a lot more money than the 7 million shillings or 130 million shillings that you're going to get from the government. And then I also want to fight for us to do things that improve our environment and our employment and also our housing. I was in Kibera today and I saw the slum upgrading. Great, we did it, but somehow stalled. You know, we should never have stalled those projects. We should have continued. But then, you know, you move people from the slum and you put them into these fantastic houses, but you don't put a system of recycling the garbage, collecting the garbage, improving the sewers outside. So it's almost like we're doing things half-baked. And I think people are happy and proud of the houses that they've got. It's a rent purchase agreement. You're paying 6,000, 25 years, it's yours. So I have a plan to make sure that we have to pull ourselves out of our problems. It's not the donor funding, it's not the government. We can find the solutions together. So I keep telling everyone when I go out, you're in a hole, and it's true, majority of Kenyans are in a hole. I'm going to give you the hands to pull you out, but you've got to pull yourself out.
You and Rachel Shebesh agree on many, many things. She was your mentor previously. You agree with her and you defended her when Wangui was on the offensive. Why are you running against her?
Well, I don't know if I'm running against her, but I'll tell you one thing. I come from the private sector. I'm a social entrepreneur. I have actually seen the wrongs in government. I don't like tribalism. I want to be in government because I feel I have a different way of doing things. For me, it's not about the budget in government. It's about how do I use my ideas, right, and my sixth sense to try and improve things. And I'm also an amazing negotiator. I managed to negotiate with government, with the county, with the private sector to actually light up Nairobi, bring the first lighting tower. And today it's a major spend for the government. So I came up with my Dress My Choice. I funded Kilimani Mums to do my Dress My Choice, a silent protest on gender. So I do a lot of things without being in government. And I want that platform where I can do a lot more. You know, and just looking at what Shebesh did today, going out and giving 1,000 cards for NHIF. For me, we have to do things that can be replicated across. Because why do it for some when you can't do it for everyone? But it's a beautiful start. You know, I think everything takes one step and then we have to look at how else can we improve it. And I believe that when I'm in government, because I absolutely hate corruption, I think I can be able to talk a lot of people out of it.
Larry, I also think this position of a woman rep, you're like an ambassador. There's so many organizations which are willing to come and maybe work with the youth, people in the slum. And as an ambassador in this women rep position, you can be able to make proposals and go get the youth empowered through these organizations. And as I'm going to the ground, I realized as we said, the women fund, the funds available for women, most of the women are not taking the funds. It's not because they can't access, but they don't know how. The procedure, they don't know, they don't have the procedure. They don't know the procedure. They don't know how to go to access these funds.
All
So
right.
if we'll go and educate them on how to get these funds, and I think they'll be able to access. And another thing, it's when, as a woman rep, you also are a legislator in parliament. First, I feel like they've delayed the PWD bill, the disability, the bill. It has taken so long in parliament. So I feel like as a woman, the women in parliament, they should have been proactive on that bill. Another thing, I think they also sit in the budget committee, and I feel like we should actually do like a preventive health than we invest so much, put a lot of allocation on this huge equipment in hospitals and all that, yet our people lack basic things. Nairobi, Vijiji there, it's about shelter, food, and you lack water, clean water. There's no actually water, and we buy big equipment in hospitals. And if we had clean water, then we'll not even have those people go to the hospital. So it's more of, our legislation should be more of preventive health than curative.
Okay, Karen Nyamu, you posted this on April 7 on your Facebook. When the president spotted Karen Nyamu and told his security he would want a word with her, he told her to work very hard for the nominations, as his intelligence informs him all the other candidates, apart from Karen, would lose to Passaris in the general elections. Before that, Ruto had called her to his car to address the crowd, something that never happens in presidential convoys.
First of all, that someone runs my Facebook. She's called Shebesh. And she comes up with some crazy captions sometimes. I was so mad about that one because...
And yet it's still on your page from April 7.
But you see...
this post was not edited. I see it April 7, 9:02 a.m. It was not been edited. So it is there in its original form. So if you are mad with
once
it, why is it still there?
Once you sponsor a post, you can't edit it. I think you know that.
You can pull it down.
You can pull it down. You can stop sponsoring it. So are you saying that the president told you that officially his intelligence tells him that only you can win in this seat against Passaris?
Okay, well, that's you put me on a spot, but I don't think I want to discuss or talk about what the president told me on television, Larry.
And yet it's on your Facebook page.
That might not be what he said, but we had a little conversation, and it entailed working hard, yeah. And he has information on the race, and he asked me, are you Karen Nyamu?
So he thinks I'm going to win. That's lovely.
So are you saying that you're the only person among the Jubilee candidates who can beat Esther Passaris?
He didn't say that. I don't want to comment about that.
That's what your page says.
That was...
It's not been changed, it's not been taken down. That's why I was able to find it today.
Because sometimes in politics, I mean, I saw it, I was very surprised. I asked her, are you crazy? But then...
Who sponsored it?
But you told her to keep it up and not to delete it.
Oh, she sponsors. I mean, in politics, sometimes crazy and outrageous and
crazy works.
So
Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of interesting.
It was kind of interesting.
Oh, but that shouldn't make Passaris think that any of us is going to be an easy. I can tell you. I can tell you Passaris.
Before you jump in, I also want to play something from you were speaking at a church service in Ruai. I believe this was in March. And you said something which was interesting. Play.
Wow.
Hii wakati mchague mama anaheshimika, mama akikuja hapa mbele ana aibu, si ndio hivyo? Wacheni tutoboe hii maneno juu tusiposema miaka 5 mtakuwa na shida. Eti huo. Miaka 5 mtakuwa na shida. Miaka 5 mtakuwa na ile pesa ya Uwezo Fund haijawafikia. Miaka 5 mtakuwa na ile pesa ya Youth Fund haijawafikia. Miaka 5 mtakuwa na hiyo pesa ya Affirmative haijawafikia. Mnataka hivyo kweli? Mnataka hivyo kweli? Kwa hivyo hata kama leo kuna jua kali kabisa, ni lazima msikize viongozi. Mjue viongozi hawa watawafanyia nini miaka 5. Sawa sawa?
What did you mean mama ambaye anaheshimika?
Oh, fantastic. I need to talk about that because it's actually even in the constitution that when you're a leader, you have to put yourself out there like a respected person for you to be able to be accepted by the community. We have children, young girls that are coming up. We want to be a role model to them. We don't want them to hear when they speak of women rep, they are just speaking about drama, things that are on social media. We also need to be out there and be women who respect.
Are you saying that
And
Rachel
I'm
Shebesh is
saying
not a
this-
respectable woman?
No, it's not. I am not saying the things that have gone round are not things that we, as Nairobi women, would want to hear our women rep.
Again, to recap, are you saying that Rachel Shebesh is not a respectable woman?
Let me tell you, as I started earlier.
She said it is public, so we want her to clarify.
I need to actually speak about this, because even if we don't think about, we don't speak about it, that is what is out there. You need to be, let me say this, you need to be a respected woman. Mwanamke si nguo, ni tabia. Let me tell you that.
Really
for me,
Wangui.
yes.
Okay.
No, let me just finish. Let me just finish, because it was my clip. It was my clip. Let me tell you, it was my clip. Let me just respond to it. I said that the same way she said about billboards. And there's one thing I need to make clear to Nairobi people. You can be beautiful and have brains. You necessarily don't have to be an airhead just because you're beautiful. I am beautiful, I believe that. And this whole idea of that, we are beautiful when we are running. I saw an article, they were saying we are looking for husbands. No, we are not. We are educated girls. We have an agenda. I have an agenda for Nairobi. And if there is an issue that I feel the mwanamke mashinani is actually pressed to speak about, I will speak for them, because there's something called representation.
Right.
I am representing the Nairobi woman. And if they feel there's a problem, I need to speak about it. Being in politics is not about keeping quiet. You have to speak for the people that you lead.
You need to respond to her?
As I say, my agenda?
Yes, by all means.
Okay, so I'll say, you're very beautiful, Wangui. Thumbs up. I have done the following. I have talked
because
about
the question we keep getting a lot over this last hour has been, what has Shebesh done?
That's what I
Why
want
is
to
she
say.
running?
I want to say,
go for it.
You're beautiful, thumbs up. Can I say what I'm doing?
Go for it.
I've talked about the therapy units, the 17 for the children with disability, where I put most of the money, the government money, which you need to be felt on the ground. Secondly, there is a program for sanitary pads. It's amazing, Larry, that in Nairobi we have problems of sanitary pads, to the point where children in slum schools and public schools go to school without panties. Even panties are a problem. So I was able to get a sanitary kit of 1 year and 4 panties and gave to standard 8 girls, 3 schools per constituency. That's what I could afford with the money. So that these girls who are in standard 8 can go up to exam time without missing school, because actually they miss school. That's the program on sanitary pads. I then have a program, as I've told you, of value addition, where boys, young people, women, youth, who have started income generating projects. For example, car wash, which is the most popular. Mkokoteni for garbage collection, which is the most popular. Most of them start from nothing. So we build them up. And that is called value addition. And most of the groups that have gotten this on the ground are groups that applied without coercion or being brought by any broker. And that's what I love about it. That when I'm going to give the check to them, I find boys who went out of their way to access this fund. Also, we have a civic education component. Just what my colleagues are saying here. The issue of women fund is not understood. The issue of youth fund is not understood. Even this one-third, the one-third procurement for women and youth and persons with disability, not understood. Issues of NHIF, NSSF, not understood. So our money has allowed us to have a civic education program, 1 per constituency, again because of the lack of funds, at least to call the leadership of women and tell them about these funds. Lastly, sports, because there's a component of sports. I have decided, again, to go back to the persons with disability so that they can do sports just like any other person. So I sponsor, through this program, wheelchair basketball and sitting volleyball. Lastly, in issues of emergency, we have an emergency kit. That is why I was able to respond in Gikomba, in Kuinda, in Kangemi when there are fires.
Okay.
Although that money is also very limited. So all
I
I'm saying
did not even speak of
Can
what
I finish?
I'm going to do.
Let her finish. Let her finish. Then we'll give you a chance to give your agenda.
All I'm saying is, this is what the regulations of the Women Rep Fund allow you to do. So I want also to just caution my colleagues. Some of the things we are saying belong to the county government. Others belong to the national government. So this is what the regulations are, and that is where we are supposed to channel our money.
All right, I'm out of time, so if I give you a chance, please also go into your agenda as well.
No, 10 seconds, Larry. I did not even tell my agenda.
Let me start.
I did not even tell my agenda.
I wanted to go around and give you the last chance, but you can go first. You can go first.
My agenda.
Yes, you go first.
My agenda and what I'm going to do differently from the incumbent. And the reason why I speak of the incumbent is because that is the seat I'm running for right now. So what I will do differently, first things first, with the little that the government has given, I will make sure it trickles fairly to the common mwananchi. Kama ni pesa ya biashara, I will make sure that mama mboga amepata hiyo pesa. fairly. Number two, I will make sure that when you speak of a woman rep Nairobi, you're looking at a woman who is well respected, because also image matters. This is Nikitia Mama County. Mama County, that is the woman rep seat. For me, I want to give it the value that it should have. And secondly, thirdly, what I need to do, I will have a good relation with the county government, with the national government, so that they can come in handy when I'm trying to work with the women and the youth. And lastly, I will make sure there's so many job opportunities that have been left out for the youth. I will make sure from all the slums, from Gikomba, from Kawangware, from Dandora, from Dagoretti, everywhere, I will make sure that these guys, they get jobs.
Okay.
So I will want to say, Nairobi, you have a woman who is ready to work for you and a woman who is ready to work with the little fuss that we have.
All right. What is your promise for the people in Nairobi? What is your vision? Why are you running for Nairobi Woman Representative?
I'm going to go beyond the woman rep seat and the fund in the woman rep seat. I'm going to work with the private sector brain that I have and the business sense that I have. And for me, I want to change in attitudes. You know, when I look at just mama, you know, it's my attitude, my altitude. I want to change people by negotiation, by talking. And I've done that, I've seen that. I can have a room of rowdy youth and then we sit down and we talk, and in the end we're shaking hands. So for me, I'm a mother, I'm 52. Most of the youth are like my children. And I'm going to actually inspire, motivate, and try and make them learn to be independent and learn to have self-respect. And there's a lot of things we can do. And within the problems that we have, I will create businesses. For instance, we've got everywhere I go, there's a lot of women that are absolutely intoxicated, young youth intoxicated. What do? We create rehab centers, all right, using hopefully the money from the betting control. And then we create jobs for all the women that have got counselor training and they don't have jobs. So one problem can create jobs for another. So I'm going to try and integrate all that. And of course, work with government, work with the county government, work with the private sector. I do not want to go beyond. I get sick when I start thinking donors.
All right.
After all these years of independence, we should be able to do things for ourselves.
Okay.
Larry, for
Millicent.
me, I think it's about sustainability. It's about engraving laws and policies which will make all these things which we are doing sustainable. Because if we are giving the youth this, doing this, is it sustainable? When someone else comes, is it sustainable? So if we put laws and regulation, for example, the 30% for the youth, most companies are not achieving that. I've been in the corporate, I was a director in Kenyan, and you get most companies are not achieving this. Then why can't the government penalize companies which are not giving the 30% to the youth, or they are not employing in senior management 30% women or youth? So they should be penalized, and those who have achieved that can even get tax relief. So it's about sustainability. It's not about what you do there and then. So I think it's about policy, so that it is, all this is sustainable.
And finally, last but not least, what is your vision for Nairobi? Karen?
I'm going to echo what Millicent has said, because that's what I was about to say. It's wrong.
Is that what you're about to say? That you should run with her, or you should support her?
It's wrong to say, first of all, that Shebesh has done nothing. That's not correct. She has done what she could have done with what she has. But as Millicent said, it's good to base things on policy and legislation. That way, she has a very excellent initiative, Jenga Talanta, which
thank you for reminding that.
which I hold very dear. I mean, building youth talent. But how she's done it is very individual, such that in her absence, there's no Jenga Talanta. But we need to put industries. We need to base industries, modeling, sports, entertainment, things that will grow the youth. We need to engrave it in legislation, and so that it's sustainable, as Millicent says, so that when I'm not women rep, people are still Jenga in Talanta.
Exactly. Like entrepreneurship should be actually in the curriculum, so that when all these people finish school, you know, now people are getting into entrepreneurship.
You jumped onto her point.
So
you can finish, Karen.
So I'm going to be very keen on legislation. I'm going to be sponsoring bills. I have a legal background. I'm a lawyer. So I'm all about legislation. I have practiced law, so I notice gray areas when I'm dealing with the law. So I think I will come in handy to avoid such gray areas in legislation.
We have to leave it there, ladies. Thank you so much for coming in. All the best in your nominations on Friday.
Thank you.
And like you said, whoever wins will support the other person.
Yes.
I'm telling Nairobians I'm the best.
Thank you so much, Esther, Passaris, Millicent, Omanga, Karen Nyamu, Rachel Shebesh, and Wangui Nganga. We appreciated having you come on today and just speaking about the issues in the county of Nairobi. We're going to take a break on NTV Tonight. Mark and Smriti are back after the break from Kisumu with the rest of the broadcast.